Welcome down to the grid, everybody. It's quite blustery down here on the dummy grid. Let's go and have a little bit of a chat with our Mini Rock drivers. This is the first of the big ones, the Mini Rock Superfinal for 2022. First driver that I want to have a little bit of a chat with is Vivek Kanthan. Vivek, what a week so far. A perfect run through the heats, 0 points, absolutely perfect score. You must be very pleased.
Yeah, it's always amazing to obviously start in front and be in such a big event and win all the heats, and it's all possible because of the AV racing. So I'm really grateful for them, Alessandro, my mechanic Bobo, and Simone for the engines.
So AV Racing have a very good record in this race, but it is a one-off race. What's the mindset ahead of this final?
Obviously you win, but it's about being consistent, working with my teammate, obviously Williams alongside me, Shinzei who's behind, a bit further behind, but it's really about teamwork, and then obviously the last lap is free-for-all, but it's really teamwork.
Good stuff. Have the best of luck. And Vivek Kanthan, being a North American driver, we had a North American winner here 12 months ago. I want to have a chat with Australia's William Kalea. William, great to see you here once again in this final. You've been in this position before. What are you thinking ahead of this race, especially with Vivek alongside you on the front row?
Yeah, obviously we're both trying to have a good race and then just go get a good start. As long as we get a good start and follow our way through and the car has been really good for the past few races. So as long as we drive it to full perfection and stay in front, we can end up winning this. So.
The weather conditions have changed. It's still dry, but it's got very, very windy here. Is that on your mind at all?
Yeah, it's been getting very windy. Hopefully during the middle of the race there's no rain, but yeah, the wind will also affect the track a little. But anyway, just don't worry about that. We'll just worry on the race and yeah, keep our eyes on the prize.
It's been a really good Rock Cup Superfinal for the Australian drivers. What do you think's been the difference this year?
I don't know. Like when they came, I was like, wow, they're all really on pace. But yeah, all the Aussies have been doing really well, and yeah, good luck to all of them in the final, and a good job for them this weekend, and also especially last weekend as well. So yeah.
Good stuff. Best of luck, William. Have a good final. Let's just hop over here to Energy Courses Kai Johnson. So we've got two Americans on the front two rows. Kai, third place on the grid for this one. It's a good spot to be because you've got that good run into turn one. Are you confident?
I'm really confident about this race. I'm just gonna try to be smart throughout the race, try and work with Vivek a little bit, work with my guys around me, hope to get away, make it a two-kart race, but I'm feeling really confident.
Good stuff. Have a good race. You can see the 1 minute board has been shown. So let's cut back up to Daniele. This should be a really good one. Mini Rock final here at the Rock Cup Super Final. Often one of my favourite races of the year. It's going to be close. It's going to be fantastic. Daniele, over to you.
It was quite interesting to see the voices from all the grid, I'd say, part of the grid. From the Mini Rock, kind of forget they are mini while they're talking, and cheers to Andrew for his big job, that's for sure. Speaking of the grid, let's put the days in order for the first final of the day. It's Vivek Kanthan starting from the first row in this 12 laps super final in Mini Rock category, and we heard of him. Of course, it's always good to start from the top, but it's gonna be a tough race. It's Australia with Kanthan and Kaleka in first row, with Sebastian Eskandari and Kate Johnson in the second row. It's Zerui Shen and King Reipold in third row. And then it's Kasper Reipold in third row, and then it's fourth row with Karar Firand and Gay Korn. Then it's Matvei Dergunov, Luke Tal, Jared Clark, Amish Campbell, Zdenek Babicek, and Milos Zmuk. Then it's Thomas Cichoraki and Bogdan Stefan Kozma Christopher, with Olivier Sadesini and Declan Deonarin with Bruno Gritz and Bautista Panetta 10th row on the grid. Ionis Vibriantis with Travis Theo Marco Manson, Franek Boll, Mikolaj Gawilowski, Kasper Bonder, Zach Tucker, Marek Lagan, Ksaury Rafalik, Nathan Rybicki, Samuel Woolley, Jor Caden, Javier Chaparro, and Jason Kosmopoulos with Wojciech Woda and Maxim Becker. Ending up the grid. During your interview, Andrew, I kind of forgot they are minis.
They're very tiny. They're very small. It's like I had to get down really low to the ground. I'm too old for this.
But if you only just hear them speaking, it's like a fully grown driver.
No, absolutely. The level of professionalism with these young drivers, it always impresses me when I come to this event. And I'm not just saying it for hyperbole. This, previously, I remember the 2020 final in particular, is one of my favourites of the year because it's always close. It's always tense as well because it is a one-off. It's an international final. It's not just another national championship round or anything of that description. This is it. This is the race to decide who is the world's best mini rock driver in 2022.
And I kind of pissed off with the rock. No, I'm just joking. But as you know, as everyone knows by now, mini rock is my favorite category. I'd like to be here, and it's green flag with a good start by Kantan. I'd say it's a good start for a lot of drivers down. There's no space for everybody. Let's go through turn 2 and turn 3. Everything went well. A good start by the Americans, but Kaleka trying to get back on it all wide, and down they go at turn 4. Everything, it's almost right. Someone has to put aside for a little bit to avoid contact. But everything is good, and it's Kantahan that was so fast at the very beginning of this race, at the very start of this race, that is still there, leading over Johnson. So it's 1-2 for the Americans. Not anymore.
There was a problem for Indonesia's Sini on the formation lap, so the 540 is effectively out of the race at the moment. I think there's a couple of other drivers lower down as well. End of lap number 1. Vivek Kanthan leads the race. This is a very familiar position for the Americans so far this week. Has won every single heat that Vivek has taken part in this week, but this is different. This is a final. Kai Johnson, fellow American, just behind there in second place, and then it's Shen in third. Still early stages of this one though. We're only on lap 2. It's a 12-lap race. It's a long race for these young drivers, but already we're starting to see a pack of 5 forming at the front of the order. Shen has a little look there to try and get past Johnson into second place. But if this top 5 can just keep themselves organised for the next few laps, Daniele, they've got a good chance here of pulling away from the pack. They can then decide who takes the different sizes of trophy later on in the race, but what's crucial is keeping that speed up and not allowing other drivers in for another chance at taking this race victory.
Good, they speak all English, so if they can sort it out there, but I don't know if it's gonna be so easy running and with Shen and Firan that of course are not agree, but they are not agree by themselves too, because they're not on the same page. Everyone wants to win and everyone wants to do it right after it. Allora, gran partenza intanto per la mini rock, con subito i 3 anglofoni che si danno battaglia lì davanti. Adesso Johnson e Kantan a duellare con Kaleka, che è tornato su dopo una partenza così. Adesso la risposta di Kantan su Johnson, prova a infilarsi anche l'australiano, ma ci sono anche Shen e Firand che non vogliono certo stare a guardare. Si aprono a ventaglio sull'ultimo tornante e poi si buttano sul rettilineo ancora, con Kaleka scivolato, con Johnson scivolato adesso addirittura in quarta posizione. No, they're not on the same page at all.
They're not, but crucially you've now got 1, 2, 3 AV racing karts in the lead. Kanthan, Shen and Kalea. Now will they work together? No, Kalea's going to go down the inside there for second place. Takes second place away from Shen. This is good work at the moment from all of these drivers. They are keeping that gap to the 6th place driver, Durganov. Eskandari Morandi is there as well, pushing on. Has been really fast this week there in the 533, racing for Poland Paralin here this year.
reading the grid, I was thinking just about that. There's a lot of driver all over the grid that we saw battling at the top of their eliminatory hits, so they're able to battle for the top. And it's crucial for these 5 drivers now to not let anybody else get in that fight, because almost anybody behind them is ready to go.
Into the middle third of the race now. We're on lap 5 of 12 for the 2022 Mini Rock Final. Kai Johnson down the inside takes third place away from Zheyu Shen. Wants to get back up to the lead of this race. Had it for about half a lap. The pace is looking good. I'm looking back at that second group. There has been a change for 6th place. Sebastian Eskandari Morandi is back up into 6th place. Started on the second row of the grid, but on the outside. As we mentioned, a difficult place to start here at Lonato, and is starting to bridge the gap. He's getting away from Durganov and Bogdan Stefan Kozma Christopher behind, and is closing in. Who's got the fastest lap at the moment? In fact, it is Bogdan Stefan Kozma Christopher. This would be a sensational story, Daniele, because the story so far for the Romanian driver is a horrendous qualifying. Had to start every single race from the back of the field and race through those fields. Was gaining 15, 20, sometimes even 25 positions in some of the heats. Has got into this Superfinal and is now closing in on the leaders. Side by side for third place, Shen and Johnson. Shen goes through. And that's an opportunity now for Kalea and Kanthan to race off the front. And there has been a change for the lead. Kalea into the lead past Kanthan. This is okay at the moment for AV Racing. Their 2 drivers are pushing off the front of the order now. It's not decided yet. They'll keep working together as we enter the second half of this race.
And I was watching 0.8 of a second of Firan from Eskandari. Now it's 5, as you were seeing him. And of course, Bogdan Christopher, Kozma Christopher, are getting there too, and they are not 2 drivers you want to when you are battling for the top. Quindi si sta chiudendo il gap con gli inseguitori, anche se adesso Kalieka e Kanthan stanno chiudendo la festa agli altri 3 che si stanno dando fastidio in bagarre. Stanno provando ad andare via i 2 piloti lì davanti, con Chen, Johnson e Firrand che invece si danno battaglia per la terza posizione e stanno aprendo il fianco al rientro di Eskandari Marando e di Bogdan Kozma Christopher, con intanto un altro pilota che abbiamo visto spesso protagonista durante il weekend, Bruno Grizze, che col suo 54,5 fa il giro veloce, sta provando a recuperare terreno dalle retrovie. Ha già recuperato 9 posizioni rispetto alla posizione di partenza, come sottolineava Andrew poco fa in lingua inglese. Grande lavoro anche di Bogdan Kozma Christopher in questo senso, 10 posizioni recuperate. Ora che si è messo alle spalle Eskandari e sta guidando la corsa, 54.540, 54,5 giro record per il pilota romeno, che adesso si mette in testa di salire sul podio. Kozma Christopher with the overtake over Eskandari with the fastest lap, and now he's there ready for a podium place.
Is indeed, really is pushing on now. There'll be 4 laps to go once the leaders cross the start line in a few seconds' time, and it is still William Kalea at the front of the order. Vivek Kanthan there in second place. Australia from the United States of America. Kai Johnson there in third as well. Shen fourth. Kozma Christopher in fifth. It's going to be more potential success for the Kozma Christopher family later on in this programme. Meanwhile, it's an interesting position for Kanthan now. I could sense that urge for the young driver to want to take the lead of this race. I would just hold back if I was him at the moment. They're keeping that gap back to third place. Keep working as teammates, pushing off the front. Can always fight on the last lap for a race victory, but you could lose it all, battle now, and end up, 5th, 6th, 7th as this pack is trying to chase down, trying to get itself organised. There's all kinds of scrapping going on there as Shen gets forced out wide there by Fairhand, Kara Fairhand's coming into this as well. 3 laps to go. Bogdan Stefan Kozma Christopher is now up to third place. Now this next lap, Daniele, is going to be very interesting what is the pace in the 570? Effectively, this is the first time all weekend we've seen that kart in clear air.
It's clearly the fastest on the track for the group that are chasing the two leaders. It was just quick as it gets. Arrive, Razel, and Pai, and now is Cosma Christopher on a mission. 2.5 laps to go. It was 1 second away from Cantan. I bet it's gonna be at least half of the space at the end of this lap.
This would be a truly, truly remarkable comeback from such disappointment on Thursday morning in timed qualifying. It really did not look good for the Romanian driver. There's 2 laps to go. Kalea is pushing off the front now. That's a big lap. That is a really big lap from William Kalea. The gap is now over 3.5 tenths. We were talking earlier in one of the early races about a 4-tenth gap being a buffer that you can just drive around, keep it calm and not have to defend too hard. But look at Kanthan coming back at Kalea now, pushing hard, responding through sector 1, takes another 2 tenths.
And yes, that's probably not enough, 8 seconds away from the top, but at least Cantan have to start to attack Kaleka and they will lose time. So Christopher Cosma is there, ready to cash it in. Finale di gara che può accendersi con Kaleka e Cantan che dovranno iniziare a duellare, e adesso Bogdan Christopher Cosma si sta avvicinando parecchio. Ha un gran passo, vediamo il passaggio sul cronometro all'inizio dell'ultima tornata, l'11ª su 12, recupera ancora qualcosina, forse non abbastanza, vediamo se lo aiuta la lotta lì davanti.
Final lap of the 2022 Mini Rock Superfinal here at Lenato. Cantan's down the inside, going for the move into turn 4, takes the lead. Has he overshot? It's going to be side by side between the two AV Racing drivers as they approach turn 5. Will be advantage Canton on the inside, holds onto the lead, but Cosma Christopher is charging along, has closed the gap. This is not over yet. Kalea still there in second place. They're heading towards the last few hairpins now. Canton defends to the inside. Kalea still there in second. Cosma Christopher can smell that remarkable victory. Cantan's still got the lead of this race. It's got to defend down the inside into the last corner. Get the drive off the final corner. Who's going to be Mini Rock champion for 2022? It's going to be Vivek Kanthan. And the title stays in North America for another year. Vivek Kanthan wins, is champion by less than 1/10 of a second. William Kalea is the runner-up, and a remarkable, remarkable drive from Bogdan Stefan Cosma Christopher. Romania finish in 3rd. What a race, Daniele. That was so tense. And again, the maturity of these drivers and the skill from Kanthan to hold on to that lead on that last lap, make the move at the right point to take the lead and then hold on to it under such pressure.
That's why I always into mini race. They are such amazing race by Cantan, Kaleka and Bogdan. Just hashtag fight forever, do whatever you want. If you would want to do an endurance race, they're gonna be 2, 4, 12 hours like this, I'm sure about it. What a race by the Mini Rock, what a win by Cantan, Kaleka and Christopher, Cosma Christoph. If you can see that, it's just a little bit more than 2 tenths within the 3 top drivers.
He'll say one more lap, just needed one more lap to get that, but you know, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Daniele, I'm going to let you go and get ready for the next grid walk, if that's okay. Let's have a quick run through the order. As I say, stress, this is a provisional result. Vivek Kanthan wins, William Kalea P2, Bogdan Stefan Cosma Christopher after that terrible qualifying finish as 3rd. Zayu Shen is 4th, and the podium, the top 5 all getting trophies in this category, is completed by Kai Johnson. If you are to do the fun. Have a look through the highlights of that Mini Rock final. Stages, lots of tension on the grid. As away they went for the race start. Good start for those on the pole side of the grid, as predicted. Kai Johnson taking advantage of that, hopping up to second place in the early stages. It was Vivek Kanthan who led the early stages calmly from the front, as Kanthan has done throughout the heats this week here at Lenato for the 2022 Rock Cup Super Final. Kai Johnson managed to nip through though. This was a very interesting phase of the race to see this group of 5 at the front. Could they work together and resist the pressures from behind of Durganov and Cosma Christofor, who were desperately trying to join this group and see whether they could join the party, maybe even take the race victory. There's an example of Cosma Christofor flying through the field. He's done a lot of overtaking this week. The lead changed though, and the AV Racing drivers took to the front again. It was William Kalea who got up into P1, and this was a pivotal point of this final. The 2 AV Racing drivers calling a truce, a planned truce I'm sure, to push off the front and make it a 2-kart battle for the race victory towards the end. This is good tactical play from both Kalea and Kanthan. Good friends off the track, good friends on it, fair racing between the 2 of them. But it turned out to be Cosma Christofor coming through the field, and whether Cosma Christofor in the 570 could close that gap late on. The key move from Kanthan on the last lap, down the inside into turn 4, got past Kalea. Then it was a case of defend it all the way to the line. Cosma Christofor was right there. Arguably would have needed one more lap to take the win, but it was Vivek Kanthan from the United States of America who took the race victory, following up Canada's Jensen Burnett taking the win 12 months ago. Vivek Kanthan is your Mini Rock champion here at the 2022 Rock Cup Super Final.